Today's video blog was almost inadvertently given to me by one of my candidates in a conversation I was having with him, and it's on the topic of experience. Now, this candidate was quite frustrated because they'd lost out in a job interview situation to somebody else who it turned out later had a significantly less business and I suppose to some extent life experience than my candidate had. And he was just very frustrated by that. He felt that didn't sort of seem to make a lot of sense. Surely, all things being equal, if one person's got more experience, that often works out to be the key factor. And often that is the case. Where I think he was maybe going wrong in inverted commas was that he was very focused on the fact that he could provide more experience. But I think where he may have missed a trick was that I don't think he was necessarily explaining to the company concerned why that was very valuable to them. So it was almost, and I'm being a little bit cliche, a little bit simplistic here, but it was almost as if he was just able to make a declaration of, I'm very experienced, and the company was supposed to say, yeah, you are, okay, let's go with you. What you do have to do in these situations, I think, is to really join the dots for the company. Even if you think it's kind of obvious why your experience would be an asset, I think it's a mistake to not actually take the other side of the interview, the interviewer, the company decision maker, take him or her through why your experience is an asset. And look, particularly in the current times that we have, where things are very tough for pretty much everybody, it's really vital that you show what your value is. Now, typically, value to a company is about someone who's able to reduce the cost base of a company, save them money in some shape or form, or it's about someone who can generate more money for them, and that's often in terms of sales revenue, for example. So if your experience means that you have, for the sake of argument, more longer, deeper, more meaningful, more lucrative relationships with clients and potential clients, then for goodness sake, talk them through that. Make that really, really explicit and clear. Hold them by the hand and take them down that pathway, which explains why your greater experience will actually translate into more dollars. Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Simply being more experienced, okay, lovely. But ultimately, if it doesn't change anything, so what? So, yeah, whatever it is that your experience grants you in terms of your ability to be better in some shape or form, you really have to spell out what better means, what it looks like, how it impacts the company. That way, I think then that they'll understand why your experience, should be the key factor, and they should go with you. And also, perhaps to some extent, as a sort of secondary advantage, is that they get a sense of why or how valuable your experience is. So not only do you want to get the job, of course, but you may want to get the job at this salary level as opposed to this salary level. And again, if you can show and quantify and really explain explicitly the value you bring in a very, very clear-cut dollars and cents kind of way, I think you're much more likely to get that the positive outcome that you're looking for. So yeah, give lots of thought to how you're going to explain that. Just simply being experienced on its own, I don't think that's enough. You've got to quantify and explain why that will be a virtue, an asset for the company. Okay, good luck with that one.